The last part, we were able to make this uh, registration fragment navigation, and when I put in my name and click on next and click on next here and then here, uh, the first thing is when I click on this button, which is the back button on the top, nothing happens. So we have to make this navigation, make the backward navigation with this back button as well as with this bottom navigation back button. And the second problem was if I click on next for this fragment, and if I click on this for the password fragment, if I click on next, what it does is basically sets the fragment listener on the password fragment. And if I press the bottom back button, it redirects me to the previous fragment, and the title of the fragment remains the password. So first thing is we have to change set up a backward navigation to this back button. Second thing is we have to change the title when we press back and go forward. And the third thing is when I click on next now, what it shows me is this on next click, and uh, let us do that click again. When I click on next, it shows me on next click again. Let me just delete this and now you can see better. When I click on next, it shows me on next click, and the on next click is called when the current fragment is an instance of password fragment and the setup fragment listener is set on the password fragment. So we have to change all that stuff. So let's get started. The bottom navigation button, which is this backward navigation, is triggered when we press on the back navigation button. The fragment which is triggered is no, not the fragment. The method which is triggered is on back pressed. Okay. So what we will do is make our separate method. We will not call this super dot on back pressed. We will make a separate method for this as well as this back arrow in the registration activity. So let me just create something private, an image view object, which will be my back button on the top. I'll initialize it by back button is equals to find view by id r.id dot back arrow ra, and I'll set a click listener on it. Back button dot set on click listener, new on click listener, and this will call a method, a common method. I'll create a common method for both the back button on the top and back button on the bottom. So let me just make a method public void uh, back button press. This will be a common method. So I'll call this method in this back button pressed, and here back button pressed. Okay, so now let's check if the current fragment is an instance of the name fragment. If it is an instance of the name fragment, then we need to finish the activity without doing anything. Else if the current fragment is an instance of the birthday fragment. If it is an instance of the birthday fragment, we have to change the title bar, the title of the toolbar to name, and we have to pop the fragment, which is the birthday fragment. We have to pop this birthday fragment and display the name fragment. So what we will do is get support fragment manager dot pop. And one more thing, sorry, when we there's a difference between this remove method, which accepts a fragment. If we were to remove this fragment, this remove method will basically remove the fragment from the screen, but not from the backstack. Basically this backstack contains the number of commits and the number of replace operations performed on it. So the number of time the commit is called, uh, that commit operation is stored in the backstack, not the fragment. So when I remove this fragment, the fragment is removed from the screen, not from the backstack, because it was never added to the backstack. The thing added to the backstack is the commit method. So we will not use this approach. We'll simply say get support fragment manager dot pop backstack. That's simple. And now after removing the fragment from the backstack, we'll do one more thing. We'll uh, let me just create a string which will be the current fragment will be equal to get support fragment manager dot dot find fragment by tag. We can find the fragment by tag. So we'll do one thing, find fragment by tag, and this tag we have to set a tag on each of the fragment. So there's an add method. When I tap on add, there are basically three add methods in the begin transaction. First is uh, which accepts a container ID, a fragment. The second one is a fragment and a string, and the third is a container ID, a fragment, and a string. So we'll use this one. So simply just uh, get a comma and get the string r dot string dot name fragment, which is the name of the fragment. It just sets the tag for this. I'll just copy this thing and paste it in every fragment. This is the birthday fragment, so we'll do birthday fragment. Here this would be a gender fragment, so we'll do gender. Next would be this, and this would be the email fragment. I'll do the email. This would be password fragment. I'll do the password. Okay, so we have all the tags set up, and if I now do find fragment by tag, I'll do get string r dot string dot name, fragment name. So what this basically returns me is a fragment. Now when I press the back button, it just pops this birthday fragment from the stack and displays me, not it does not display anything. uh, the current fragment becomes the name fragment, which was the previous fragment of the birthday fragment. This returns me find fragment by tag returns me fragment name. sorry, the name fragment, because the tag fragment name is set to the name fragment. Now, what we will do is current fragment dot setup fragment listener, and we'll pass in this and the account details. So, what we should do is uh, every time we click on next, we should make a copy of this account details. So, click on this dot account details equals to the account detail. Every time it goes through a click, it just keeps a copy of the data into this activity. And this copy of the data is circulated when we press the back button. So we never lose our previous information which we have written already. The word, this would not be the birthday fragment. This is the current fragment and uh, birthday fragment name. Sorry. So what we'll do is uh, we'll typecast this current fragment into the name fragment. So the current fragment is this, and now we have the name fragment. So we'll write the name fragment and the current fragment dot set up the fragment click listener and this and the account details. And at last we have to set the um, the title of the toolbar. So we'll do one thing, we'll go here and typecast this into a text view, which is my toolbar dot get dot find view by id or dot id dot back no, not back arrow, action bar title dot set the text to the name. So simply get string and r dot string dot name. Done with it. Okay, and now uh, we have to do the same for every fragment. If I am on the gender fragment, then I need to do this for the birthday fragment, and the previous fragment will be the uh, birthday fragment, and its name would be the birthday. And now this will be the birthday fragment. If I am on the email fragment, and then um, the previous fragment would be the gender fragment, and the name would be the gender, and this would be gender fragment. Now if I'm on the password fragment, I'll type in password. This would be the password, and this would be the, I'm sorry, this would be the email, and this would also be the email. Done. Okay, so this looks good. Let me just run this app now and see what we get in return. It should work fine, I guess. So here is the app, and I click on create new account, and When I press back button here, it's this was the top this top back button. If I click on this, it just closes the app, which is this thing. It just finishes the activity. When I click on now click on next, it just opened the birthday fragment. Now click on next, mail, next, email, and blah, 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 this and the password. Click on back button. It just this works this works fine. When I click on next again, it just goes to the password fragment again, and the password is now empty. When I press back, it just redirects me to the email. When I press back on the navigation, it just goes to the gender. When I press back again, it's birthday. When I press back, it's email. When I press back, oh, this works fine. This works exactly like how we want it. Okay, this is good. Okay, so we are done with doing this stuff, and now what we will do is we will uh, we'll be fixing this UI of the fragment, which is the birthday and the name fragment. I'll put it in a scroll view and I'll just get rid of this constraint layout because uh, this constraint layout is causing problem to it. And this is the birthday, this is linear layout, and this linear layout is in the registration activity. I'll just get rid of this constraint layout. I'll just use the linear layout for this. And in this linear layout, I'll just provide the orientation, which is the vertical orientation. Um, and this would be on the top. Provide gravity, gravity top, and I'll just remove the constraints. Frame layout, I'll just remove these constraints. I'll do one thing. Uh, I'll just put this linear layout in a scroll view, and the height would be match parent, and the width would be match parent as well. Here, uh, there should be wrap content. Now, this frame layout should have gravity of center. I think this would be fine. This would be nested scrolling. I have to remove this. Okay, let us remove this and this. This is the linear layout, which is this whole stuff, and this email is in this. Okay, okay. You can just put this scroll view here. It would be match parent and height would be wrap content. You can just Control X and Control V, and just remove this control scroll view from here. Let's see what happens to it. Mm, this height would be match parent. That's it. Okay, so let us try to run this app now. Here we go. This is the app, and when I okay, no, it is working fine. It just works exactly what I like about it. Okay, so this is something cool, but there is in the birthday fragment we have to set some sort of a width for that, and this scroll view should be uh, always below this toolbar. It should this in the birthday fragment we have to specify the margin for everything, so we can just say 32 will be the margin top and bottom would be 32 dp, and from the top and from bottom let me just run this up now. Okay, so this looks fine now. This is looking pretty good. When I click next, click here. Okay, this is good. Okay, so that's it for this part. I'll meet you guys in the next part where we'll be uh, uh, doing all the finishing of this this registration activity, and that is when I press back, it should pop, it should show me a dialog, or uh, if it should show me a toast whenever uh, I forget to fill something, or uh, I leave something blank like the name or some sort of that. I'll be formatting this email and this password and all those stuff. So see you guys in the next video. Till then,